I warmly welcome you back, my dear friends, to our YouTube channel, Catechism with Father Musu OP. In our previous catechesis, I had promised to explore some specific symbols that we find in our Easter Vigil liturgy. But before doing that, I would like us to explore the meaning and the power of symbols in our Catholic faith and liturgy. What if I tell you that ordinary materials like water, bread, light can become symbols of spiritual realities and divine truths? And that God uses what is ordinary to reveal what is extraordinary, or that He uses what is material to reveal what is spiritual. What are symbols? In very simple terms, symbols are doorways. They are portals that help us enter and experience in a profound way divine truths and spiritual realities. Think, for example, the baptismal water. The baptismal water is not just a symbol of rebirth, but it is actually the means through which we enter into a new relationship with God and begin to experience Him as a loving Father and a merciful Father. Before I go forward to explain more about symbols, I would like to distinguish between symbols and signs because both sometimes are confusing to some, but both are present in our liturgy. Signs are mere indicators. They point to something beyond themselves. But they do not help us, or they do not make present or help us experience that which they point to. They are one-dimensional pointers. In other words, they have a one-to-one relationship with that which they indicate. Unlike symbols, symbols are multidimensional. They have deeper, profound meaning, and above all, they make present in a real way and help us experience in a profound way whatever they represent. Let me illustrate this with an example, or with some examples. Take, for instance, the traffic light. When you come to a traffic light, you see red, it means stop. It tells us, gives us an information, but that is all about it. Or within the liturgy, for example, when you see the liturgical colors, it tells us what liturgical season we are, or what feast we are celebrating, and that's all. But symbols do more than that. Let us take, for example, the cross. The cross is actually a sign and a symbol. When we see the cross, it's a sign of the Christian faith. It's a sign that identifies us as Christians. But more importantly, as a symbol, it's a symbol of our redemption. In other words, it helps us to enter into that experience of redemption. It brings to reality the experience of salvation. Recall our catechesis on Good Friday, in which we focused on this cross as a symbol of redemption. And so we might say that all symbols are signs, but not all signs are symbols. Symbols have deeper, more profound meaning, and above all, they make present that which they represent, and help us to experience it in a real and profound way. Now, symbols, and like I said before, are natural elements. They're actually elements we encounter every day, like water, fire, and bread. They are elements. But the question is, how can these ordinary elements become bearers of divine truth? The answer lies in prayer. and particularly in the prayer we call epiclesis, that is, the invocation of the Holy Spirit. St. Augustine explains this beautifully when he asks. He says, talking about the baptismal water, he says, what is water without the word? By word, he's referring to the prayer or the invocation of the Holy Spirit. He says, take away the word. Water is nothing but water. But when the word, that is the prayer of the invocation of the Holy Spirit, is added to water, it becomes a sacrament. That is a symbol. And all the fathers of the church are unanimous in this view. St. Basil of Caesarea, also known as St. Basil the Great, states that water receives a quickening power through the power of the Holy Spirit. And St. Ambrose of Milan speaks in like manner when he says that through the prayer of the minister, water receives a transforming power. And St. Cyril of Jerusalem in his Catechesis also explains how water acquires a divine and ineffable power through the invocation of the Holy Spirit. Another important element about symbols is that symbols have a natural meaning, and these natural meanings serve as a foundation upon which their spiritual significance is built. What do I mean? Again, take example of water. Water is associated with cleansing. We use water to cleanse ourselves, to wash. And so it becomes a fitting symbol for baptism. But like I said, it's not just a symbol of rebirth, but actually it helps us to experience, to enter into that relationship. It helps us to experience God as Father, and that's the important element of symbols. That element of experiencing it in a real and profound manner. Again, take the example of bread and wine. In their natural meanings, is associated with nourishment. And so they serve as fitting examples, like fitting symbols of the Eucharist. A stone, on the other hand, does not have a natural meaning of cleansing or nourishment. So it cannot serve as a symbol for baptism or the Eucharist. And so what it tells us is that the symbols we use in the liturgy are not arbitrary. There's a natural meaning upon which the spiritual significance is built. To conclude our catechesis on symbols, I would like us to note 5 important things we have said so far about symbols. First, symbols are two-way doors. It's a two-way door. Symbols are two-way doors through which we are sent to God and experience divine realities and divine truths or spiritual truths. And it's also a door through which God descends to us and encounters us in our human and natural condition. Secondly, symbols make real and present that which they signify. They don't just point to something, but they help us to experience in a profound and real way what they signify. Thirdly, they are natural elements which, however, through the power of the Holy Spirit, through the epiclesis, become vehicles of spiritual truths and divine realities. And fourthly, they have natural meanings upon which the spiritual significance is built. And finally, God uses these natural elements to demonstrate that divine power and strength is often made manifest in simple, ordinary, and sometimes weak things. And the cross is an eloquent testimony of this. The cross, which is a sign of humiliation, of punishment becomes a symbol of redemption. I would like to end this catechesis by inviting each of you to begin to look at symbols that we have in our liturgy with a different eye, to see them not as mere rituals or decorations, but as doorways through which we enter and experience God's grace in our lives, and through which God comes to us and encounters us in our human situation. I would like you to, in the comment section, to tell me which of the symbols in our liturgy speaks to your heart in a very profound manner. And if you have enjoyed this catechesis, please subscribe to the channel, share these videos, invite your friends to like and to share these videos. God bless you, and see you in the next catechesis.